So, owning old sports cars, especially the German M3 variety, is a lot of fun. But everything kind of comes with its sucky parts, and here's the top reasons that owning an old sports car is gonna suck. Number one, rattles. Why do you do this? Nobody knows. But it's really annoying. Ticks. Why do you do this? Squeaks. Whether or not you could hear it, every time I get out of the car, it squeaks. And it's so aggravating. Number two, replacement parts. Because I swear to God, there's never a day where I don't have shit sitting around, like this valve cover gasket, like this oil pan gasket down here, valve shims. What's that one? That's a shim adjustment stuff. These are oil pan screws. And on the box under this, I have oil for the car because, yep, you have to order the oil because that's the only way you can get 10W60. Because it's old and paint and shit wears out, I have paint for it over there. Some of the old stuff for it is down there. So there's that. And then, oh right, there's this other cabinet that has coolant and more coolant and grease, and that's not the brake fluid I use for this car, but brake fluid. The liquid gold I used in another video that's also known as BMW diff fluid with FM booster, transmission fluid, the power steering fluid, aka automatic transmission fluid. Yeah, shit's weird. So that's kind of one of the parts of owning an old car. Parts are going to have to be replaced, but when you start stockpiling them, it quickly becomes kind of a nightmare because you're like, oh wow, I need to change this and I need to change this and I don't have time to change that. But it's all kind of part of the hobby, or whatever you want to call it, the addiction. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy working on my cars, but not everyone shares that. Reason number three, all the shit you need to work on old cars. 13-year-old car, giant toolbox, full of stuff. That's an important one right there. More sockets, more tools, jack, air compressor. I think all my stands are over on the other side of the Challenger. Yep, there's all the jack stands. Can't forget the handy dandy fire extinguisher. Yeah, that stuff kind of adds up quick, but if you enjoy doing work on your own cars, it makes the rest of your life a fair amount cheaper, but accumulating it for sure is not, let's say, the easiest thing in the world to do, and it's kind of a pain in the ass, really, just keeping it around, because it takes up a large chunk of my garage space. I don't think you can see over there, but yeah, so that's what tools do to your life. So I have no examples of this one, but number four is just for those times when you're sitting in your car and it just starts making a strange noise. And you're like, what the fuck is that? You haven't been doing that since I've owned you. And now all of a sudden, who knows? It doesn't have to be but it's the point that matters. Sometimes you're just sitting here driving along and you go, what the hell is that noise that's getting me really concerned? And then the next day it's gone and you never hear it again. That's definitely one of the aggravations of having one of these cars. So this one is definitely M3 specific here, or pretty much any BMW or high-end German car specific. But this one is just how expensive parts are, especially OEM ones. It quickly becomes a pain in the ass when you need to buy valve shim sets and valve cover gaskets and screws, where this box and the box below it is like $500–600 in stuff, and there's really not that much here. It's a couple of gaskets and some bottles of oil, and then you go over to the cabinet here where you have your $150 diff fluid change. No, I'm not kidding. It's that bad. Coolant, yep, pretty much everything's expensive. So that's really probably the biggest downside. You know, some old cars are easy to maintain and relatively cheap to maintain, but if you want one of these old cars, make sure you have some extra money set aside if you're going to be continually replacing parts like I do. So that pretty much wraps it up for this video. I don't really have much else to say. There's a lot of fun things about this car, and it's really kind of difficult to find things I don't like about the car or about you know, how you have to maintain the car, yada yada yada. So there it is. If you like likes, if you like the video, maybe think about likes. Peace. Also, quick side note before I actually go. Anyone that likes cleaning their cars, there's another fun bit of stuff that you have sitting around the house all the time, which is also known as all of these microfiber rags and random non-microfiber rags and coilovers and shit sitting in the middle. But you know, that just kind of builds up and sits around. But then there's always that one cabinet that's just absolutely full of shit that you use to clean the cars. Yes, including a speaker. That is a very important part of this. And then that's usually not it, because that's just kind of like detailing stuff, because you can never forget water washing your car is usually the way to do it. So there's usually some of this shit sitting around. And yeah, it's a shit show.